Good morning. My name is Luis. I'm an intern here at Calvary Chapel Rosarito and a future church planner. And this is today's good news. So today we're continuing the series looking at the promises of Jesus. Promises of Jesus. And today we find ourselves in the book of Mark. We'll be looking at Mark 9:31, a promise of Jesus. But before we get into that promise, I want to share a quick story with you guys. And the story is this. It goes like this. So there's this old man. He dedicates his life to crossing people across this river. He does it from morning till night. And he does it in humility. It's the only thing he knows how to do, and this is how he provides for his family. And he's dedicated his whole life to this. He has a scholar who gets on his little rowboat. And the scholar, he's crossing the scholar across the river, and the scholar starts bragging or looking down on this guy because he starts a conversation talking about what kind of books have you read? What language do you speak? What do you know about Greek mythology? What do you know about Roman history? And this guy's taken aback. He's spent his whole life rowing boats. You know, he's not an educated man, but in humility, he works hard to bless his family, to provide for his family. And the old man is just, rowing across, and all of a sudden the river rises and it gets a strong current. And it bangs up against a rock. And as it bangs up against the rock, it pops a hole in the boat, and the boat starts taking in water. And the boat starts sinking, and the scholar's starting to panic. And the old man looks at him. He says, "Don't you know how to swim?" And the scholar's reply is no. So the humility of this man who did know how to swim is a lesson for us. Is a lesson for us to always look at the next man in humility. To always look at the next man with love. What you know and what you don't know, it doesn't really matter. Just what matters is how we treat each other. So today we'll be looking at Mark 9:31, and it reads like this. Because he was teaching his disciples, he said to them, "The Son of Man is going to be betrayed into the hands of men. They will kill him, and after 3 days, he will rise again." He will rise again. So here we have Jesus speaking to his disciples. He's teaching them about his death and resurrection. Now, this is the hardest lesson for the disciples to learn at this time. They had seen miracles. They had seen, right before this story here, they had seen him heal a blind man's eyes. Before that, they had seen him feed 5,000. And he had told the scholars in the book of Mark that he wasn't going to show them no signs. But the disciples were seeing these with their own eyes. They were walking in this. And this is the third time that Jesus mentions he mentions it 3 times, his death and resurrection in the book of Mark. You'll find it in Matthew as well. You'll find it in the other Gospels. But in the book of Matthew, he mentions who it is he'll be betrayed over to. Remember that he's walking with 12 disciples. One of those 12 disciples is the one who will betray him. His own beloved disciple, Judas, would betray him over to the hands of the governors, the religious, the high priests, and to the scholars, to the scribes, excuse me. Scribes were men who knew the Bible. By the age of 12, 13, these guys were highly educated. They knew scripture memorized, Hebrew scripture. They knew it back and forth. High priests were religious men who would wear robes, and they're mentioned in the Bible as praying out loud in front of crowds and trying to always take the best seat because they wanted to be puffed up. They liked puffing out their chest. And then the governments were in that time it was the Romans who ruled over the Jews, ruled over the Jewish people. So Jesus, when he died on the cross for us, he demonstrated his humility. He demonstrated his love for us. Him being King of Kings, Lord of Lords, came down from his throne and walked across the lands, teaching how to love each other, how to be humble, how to be meek. And those are things that we could learn in this book, and we could practice, and we could share with each other, and we could walk in victory and proclaim the gospel. And that is today's good news.